How long are you willing to wait? Pinky? Come on, give it to me. In here lies the answer. Boy or girl?
Girl.
Oh, it's okay to take a little breather there, Sherwin. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me, you got Sherwin. He's no stranger to the channel. And right now, with all the tie beams that we're doing, this guy is just in stirrup world. He is just bending so much that his new name is Bender. But he's killing it over here with all the tie beams that are going on. I don't know, Sherwin, how many stirrups do you think that you've made so far for the tie beams? 100 plus stirrups. This guy's shoulders feel great right now. Feels so amazing, doesn't it? Hey everybody, I hope everybody's doing good out there. You know, with the build of the fence, there was a lot of things that I learned during that process. And just like any beginner or any rookie, I thought that everything that I learned with the fence would just simply carry over into the build of the house. And I was completely wrong. So I kind of wanted to go over some of the things that I've learned so far in these early stages of building the house. So let's go take a look and get some up close shots of what's going on over here. So one of the things that I thought was going to be the same were the columns. So if you take a look at this column here, this is actually a column for the garage, but it's also the same style that we used for the fence. So I'll pan to the right over here, and you can see these three columns here. They're already formed up with cement, but inside there, the rebar framing looks like this. So you've got 4 12mm on each corner, and then you have these stirrups that wrap around. These are 10mm. So when it came time to start doing the columns for the house, my guys asked me, what do you want to do for columns? And I told them, oh, we're just gonna keep doing what we've been doing. Okay, sir. So then, of course, I went over to my confidant, my mentor, my guy, Mr. Richard Armstrong. I went to him and I said, I just want to confirm that my columns are going to be just like this. And in a real kind way, he told me, no, man, you need to look at your blueprint, which is something that I've never done before, never read those. So it's kind of like looking at hieroglyphics. And he explained to me that this is how my house columns need to be. Because it needs to be much more stable, being that this is going to be building a structure that's going to be used as a living space. So you can kind of see the obvious differences. Instead of 4 12 millimeter, now we have 6 millimeter, and you can count that from left to right. We still have the 10 millimeter stirrups that go around, but we're using 6 instead. And what we've had to do with these is we have to do a separate footer just for the house columns, whereas with the fence, the footer that we laid kind of killed two birds with two stones, where it was for both the actual fence and the column. So we're going to take a walk over here, and I can show you the footer column, or the column footer. I got that backwards. You can see the gravel right here to the right, and then as you move to the left, you can see the column here, and as you look down, you can see that there is a cement pad that is 1 meter by 1.5 meter deep, which doesn't sound like a lot, but after we pour that, we put the gravel. We're going to walk back over here, and I'll show you the actual house footer. So now you come over here, and you can take a look at this column here, and as you look down, you see that we poured a footer that's going to take up the whole length of the trench and every trench thereafter. So you've got your footer there, and then over here to the left, you can see that that cracked gravel, and that's in preparation to do what you see to the right. So we learned that, and I'm so glad that, before I make any move, I go and I ask Richard just for confirmation, because I always know that 90% of the time I'm going to be wrong. But this is kind of a before shot, if you will, of all the house columns that are put up and just their footers alone. And then as we pan to the right again, you can see that we do that ground footer for the whole trench. So the other thing that I'm learning about right now is plumbing. And of course, this is specific to the Philippines. So far, we've had the plumber come down, and the only thing that he's been able to prepare is the connections in the septic tank. So right here, we've got 3 chambers. We've got one right here is for the black water, and I'll let you guess what that means. And then from there, once it leaches, I guess this would technically be called the leaching chamber. So black water comes into the leaching chamber, and all the water gets leached out from all the black. That's where I'll let you guess what that is. And then it goes into this pipe here, and it fills up this chamber. I'll be honest, I don't remember the name of this chamber, but this is where all the liquid goes. And this chamber over here to the left, this is actually just the same thing. So upon recommendation, instead of just having two chambers, which is normally done here, which would be leaching, and then the liquid would go into the next one, we've actually created a replica of this chamber here. So just in case this one gets filled up, now we can fill this one up without any worry of any leaking, because as you can imagine, nobody wants to have their septic tank leak. I don't think that would be an aroma appreciated by anyone. So that's what we've learned. And then off in the distance here is actually my plumber coming over to talk about some stuff right now. So what great timing he has. His name is June, just like my foreman. But the other thing that I learned is that we need to do some downspouts. So right here, we're looking at a naked garage, and we need to put some downspouts in. So right now, being that we have some unpoured columns, I'm guessing that gives us a little bit of opportunity. No, actually, we can't even go inside, because all the ones that we need to get inside, those are already poured. So we're going to have to go on the outside with these downspouts. But I am going to talk to my plumber over here, and we are going to go over some stuff. So we're going to hit pause, and then we'll come back and discuss what we talked about. So I just got done talking to the plumber, June, and what I wanted to talk to him about was putting some of the plumbing pipes inside of the house columns so we could conceal them. A little while ago, I had gone by the Armstrong's build to talk to Richard about that, and he said that it would be a good idea to use 2-inch pipe inside the column and have that go into 3-inch pipe underground for drainage. So when talking to the plumber, what he told me was that because my column is so narrow that my engineer may not approve of a 2-inch pipe going inside of the column. So I need to speak to my engineer Gerald tonight when I see him at our local fiesta. So, but if it is able to work out, and I'm hoping that it will be, because we're only wanting to do out of 16 house columns, I'm only wanting to do 4 downspouts. So I'm hoping that with the downspouts in 4 of the columns, that won't compromise the structure of the house, because the plumber was saying that if put inside of the column that there wouldn't be a lot of cement then holding up this rebar frame. So I'll talk to my engineer, see what he says, but because we're going a little bit further than what was suggested, and what I mean by that is, you saw that we have these columns, and by code requirement, they would go into their own private footer. But this trench footer that you see here is not a requirement. So right there gives structure, as well as doing the retaining foundation wall that will be forming up. That's not a requirement. That'll give that 100 times more structure. Then along with these floor tie beams, that's going to make it more stable. And then at the top of the columns here, we'll have tie beams going across, or what are known as roof beams. So there's going to be so many levels of strength and structure. I'm hoping that we'll be able to have the plumbing going through the columns signed off on. So we will see. Everybody keep your fingers crossed. So I just got good news. The boys are going to be pouring all the rest of the ground footers today. So as you can see, we got this empty space right here, right here, right here, back around over here, and up around the corner over there. So the plan is we'll start from that end, work our way to here. Then we're going to go to that end, work our way to here. Then we'll go to this end and work our way all the way down to there. And then we'll just continue until we get to the very end. So that'll be all done today, which is good news, because then we can start with all the preparation with electrical and with plumbing. And once they get all their lines run, then that means that we can start pouring the foundation footer walls, which, as we pan to the right, look like that. Those walls there that run along like that. So that's that added structure and strength that I was talking about. So we got a lot of good things going on over here today. This is exciting. I can't wait to keep this thing moving, because as you all know, we're fighting against time before the rainy season comes. So we got to get those roof structures up on the garage and on the house here. Once we can get those roofs up, then we're still building. We're still working. Guys are getting paid, paying bills, eating food, taking care of their families. And while we're taking care of them, that helps take care of my family. So let's just take care of each other, because taking care of each other, that's what it's all about. Isn't that right, Joey? That's right. And we ended up getting our light poles back from the fabricator, and they adjusted the angle of the bars. So we went from 30 degrees to, I would say, about 40 degrees. So we've got 3 of those. And then we had a couple of lengths of pipe left over, which he ended up using. It wasn't what I ordered, but I still had to pay for it because, well, he did it. But that's okay. So we have this one right here. That's the top of it, where we can attach a solar light, and that runs down pretty long. So if anybody out there is looking for a light pole for their property, I think I'm going to sell it, because I've already got 3 that we'll have on the street, and I can't really think of another place where we can put this thing. But anybody watching, if you need a light pole, send me a direct message and we can negotiate. The thing is indestructible, stainless steel. It's got the perfect angle, and it's got a place at the end over here to slide right into the back of a solar street light. So this thing is good to go. The only thing that you would need to do is like what we did at the base of our light poles. We welded on some pieces of rebar. That way, when it slides into the footer, it has something for the cement to grab onto. So you'd have to repeat the same thing right there. But other than that, this thing is ready to go. We have got, on the bedroom side of the house, we've got all the floor beams installed. And so now the guys are starting to put up the form boards for the foundation retaining wall, which is good. But then, what goes up must fall down, right? You guys okay? Well, we'll start getting these form boards up, and we're going to start on this end right here because it's between the septic tank and the back of the house. So as you can see, we got the septic tank here. This will be the back of the house here, but in between here, we need to fill this all up with backfill and cracked gravel, just like we did over on the side here between this retaining wall and the septic tank. So once we get everything looking like that, then we can start having the plumber and the electrician start running their pipes and lines. And plus, this retaining wall will give us a nice complete container to put this backfill in. That is a good sign, but we've got all the floor beams going on right now. We've got them going practically all the way around the house. We've got, looks like 3 more to go. When I say 3, I mean we got 2 of them that are kind of put up loosely. So you can see the guys over there, they're working on one. And then over on the rear of the house, there's another that's kind of put in place but not completed. And then we just have 1 more on the very end over there that'll get put together, and that should wrap up floor beams. So that is a really, really good sign. So with these tie beams, they start out looking like this. You get 4 of them, and they get put through a house column, and then they'll get connected to the next one as well. Eventually, it ends up looking like this. So you've got your 4 horizontal rebars going through the column, and then they start adding all of these stirrups to it. These are same size as the house columns here. The only difference is we're not doing rebar 5 and 6, as there's no need, because we're doing all these other rebars that are there to strengthen the retaining foundation wall. But eventually, as you put the stirrups in, it just continues, and it leads to the next tie beam. This one is on the corner of an extension, which then continues. We hit the corner here, and then it takes the corner, and we get connected to the next house column. So it's pretty cool. So you get your tie beams that'll go around the perimeter of the whole shape of the house. And then when it comes to the roof beams, you see the column here on the left and the column there on the right. The roof beams will then get connected across the top going this way. So going the opposite direction of the floor beams. So all these beams, plus the retaining wall at the bottom, which will end up looking like this one right here, this thing is going to be strong. Yesterday, when I spoke to my plumber about putting the downspouts in these house columns, he suggested against it. 2 reasons. Number 1, he thought it would be difficult to clean. And number 2, he didn't think that after pouring the cement around these, that there would be enough cement to add enough structure. So last night, I did speak to my engineer, and I told him the conversation, and I said, the beams that you told me to build for the house, you said to do 20 by 30 finished. Is there any way I can put any plumbing through there? And he said, if you want to do that, you need to make them 25 by 30 finished, and then that would be strong enough. But after talking to my foreman, after talking to Richard Armstrong, I think I've decided to go on the outside with these downspouts, but instead of putting any in the front and having to look at those, we'll keep them on the sides, both sides of the house. This is the master bed side, and then along the rear part of the house, which is where you're looking right now. I don't have to look at it. Nobody else will look at it, but that just seems like that'll be the better choice. So then, just as the plumber said, it wouldn't be difficult to clean these if needed. The only thing I need to do as far as line of defense is just paint them with a UV protectant type paint. That way the sun doesn't beat down on them. Now, the majority of the downspouts will be protected by the hollow blocks that'll make up the fence once those go on. So that'll be a big help there, but we'll still paint those just to make sure. Here in the back of the garage, just behind the septic tank, we got the plumber to come out, and he connected with 4-inch pipe the septic tank all the way to the back of the house. So this is for our black water, our yucky water. As well, we poured the floor beams for the garage. Here's the rear one. And then we have another one over here. I'll try to extend my arm as best as I can. We got that going. Monday, we'll have the electrician come out, and he'll run his lines, and he'll come where you see the gravel there. He'll start at the far end and work his way down, and then run everything that he needs to run through here. So I think we'll have to put some backfill in this area so he can lay his lines on top. That way we don't have any cross-pollination between electricity and water, because I don't think that ever feels good. And then I'm pretty sure I have already got some content of this rear retaining foundation wall, but that is now extended, and we've got that going up there. So we haven't gone all the way to the end, because we'll remove some of the form boards that are up, probably this one right here, and then a couple of these right here, and then we have some other ones that are made, and then we'll continue to the end and wrap that corner and keep going there. And then next week as well, we will start forming up all these columns for the garage so we can get this thing done. On this side here, we'll go up 11 feet. That way our roof can angle down to our 10-foot side over here. Monday, the guys will start putting about 5 or 6 layers of hollow block and start filling in that hole right there, which will be really cool. And by next week, this should all be sealed up. These columns should be poured, and we should be ready to put a roof on. I'd say all in all, this was a really good week. You know, things never go the way that you plan them to. In your mind, they always look like they're going to be going faster, but that's just not always the case. But everything's looking good. I am really, really pleased. You know, this past week, we did a little bit of pouring, we did a little bit of forming, we got some lights up, got all of our tie beams up, which is really good. Well, the floor beams, we still need to do the roof beams. We'll get started on making those next week. I think I need to buy some more rebar as I'm looking down at it right now. And I got a lot of 10, not a lot of 12. So we'll probably be doing a big order of some rebar next week, start forming up or start building those roof beams. Our days with rebar are coming up to an end. I do need to revise my order on my AAC block and just get that tightened up and finalize that and get that on its way over here, which will be exciting. But that's why we have to get that roof up so we can eventually put the flooring on the garage and have a safe place for that AAC, just in case it rains. Yeah, everything's going good. I got a good group of guys, and they do a really good job, and they make me laugh. But, you know, most of all, they work really, really hard. So can't really ask for much more than that. I'm going to go home. It's Saturday. Just paid the guys. I think it's time to go have a beer. So cheers, everybody. What was it last time?
Ay, wow.
40,
2.5. 2.5.
Oh, so you do 1 kilo a week, don't you? Or I mean a month. 1 kilo a month. Okay. Willa has just decided in the doctor's office that we'll keep the gender hidden from us. See, before she said she wanted to find out here in the doctor's office, which is what I prefer, but whatever she wants, I'll go with that. So the question is this. Once the doctor finds out the gender and the paper gets stapled, how long are you willing to wait? So when I get home tonight, are you gonna rush it, or can we do it with, well, we won't say how, but one of the ways that we spoke about, what's the longest amount of time you're willing to wait? Now remember, we've waited for 20 weeks. Can you wait 20 minutes? Can you wait 20 hours? Can you wait until the weekend? Okay, you heard it here first. We have a witness right here.
This week.
I don't hear the confidence. I hear a big question mark. This weekend?
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient.
Okay. Okay. Pinky? Come on, give it to me. All right. Okay, let's see.
Now don't look because I'm going to look for the gender now.
Don't look.
You also?
I'm not looking.
Yeah.
She's all, you want to?
I'll close my eyes.
Close your eyes. I know if you look around the room, you're going to look right at it. I'm just going to look at you. I'm going to keep you honest. No, I really want to share this moment with her.
It's okay now. You can look now.
Okay.
I say there.
You already know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Naka-side view naman, oh. Si baby's inside view. Just move.
Move ka, baby.
Move ka daw, baby, sabi ni mommy. Baby's
Ala!
still thin. When the baby will be bigger, it will be better to get the 3D, 4D.
In here lies the answer. Boy or girl? Do I trust her at home alone with this?
You can trust me, Daddy.
I don't think so. So we have a photograph in here also, so we'll be able to take that out shortly. And it's a 3D picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the baby looks really weird. Sorry, kid. It's true. But it's only because it's 3D. I'm sure in real life you're adorable. I mean, you're going to look like her, so you're going to be beautiful. Somebody will order a cake with the right color on the inside. Hey, don't smell it. You might find out. Hey. Oh my gosh.
We'll update you guys.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, it's two.
This was a gift from her.
Ay, that's sweet.
Yeah. And then this is the one we ordered.
Yeah.
And this was a gift.
Hello, baby girl.
You approve?
Make sure you don't touch the tape, okay? Don't forget touch that. You would. How's it going, man?
Oh my God.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. How do we do this? How do we do this?
Should we talk about it? Wait outside. They better put a color in there. thought it was my mouth voice.
Crying, oh. They're happy.
Happy.
She's happy. So you're happy.
You're like, I gotta make sure.
It's a prank.
Congratulations, you guys. Wow. You're like, oh, baby. Wait, why is the middle pink? Shut up, Richard. If they were unsure. Wow.
Baby boy.
Oh, goodness.
Aww. Is that your
I'm happy for you guys. I'd have been just as happy. But now you know what I got.
I love you, baby boy.
You know what?